One of the major changes we have implemented, which has been very successful and is now adopted as a standard practice, is the use of the child's plan as the principal report that is presented to our adoption and permanence panel, as opposed to social workers having to write from scratch the Form E, the traditional sort of vehicle by which their outline of their history and their needs were presented to that panel. And that has meant that social workers are not having to start afresh, they're having to simply adapt an existing report to enable them to present the information about the child to our panel, and that has certainly been very welcomed and hugely beneficial to social workers, but it has also seen no reduction in the quality of information being presented to our our adoption and permanence panel. So that's been very, very successful. When we started out on the journey, I suppose we had a sense, what our gut was telling us, where the challenges actually lay. Did they lie in terms of time taken to get to panel, or did they lie in terms of time taken from panel to place the child in their final placement? And I suppose, whilst our gut told us one thing, the data perhaps gave a much clearer picture of where the sense of our practice was. I think that the time taken for presenting a child to our panel was greater than I anticipated. The time taken to place a child in their final placement was maybe not quite as significant a sense of drift and delay as I had perhaps anticipated. But nonetheless, using the data, small changes, measuring them, we've been able to reduce drift and delay for children. Thus, the average length of time it now takes for a child to be presented to our adoption and permanence panel has reduced by in excess of 12 weeks. The children's panel members have been have bought into it in a strong way. They have understood their responsibility to make timely decisions for children, and actually not always just put off, delaying a decision is not always in the child's interests. We also have worked with SCRA in terms of advice to court hearings. Previously, the practice was for invitations to advice to court hearings to be sent out by a recorded delivery. But for families where there's a level of chaos and dysfunctionality, for them to actually go to the post office to collect a recorded delivery was something they found very challenging and often didn't do. So as a result, what SCRA have done is they now send out invitations to all hearings by first-class post, thus ensuring that panel members can be confident that parents have received the invitation to come to hearing. So therefore, if a parent doesn't turn up, then the hearing can often proceed in the absence of the parent. Where, however, the panel want to give a further opportunity for a parent to appear at a hearing, we have agreed with our partners at SCRA for a rescheduled hearing to be scheduled within 15 days of the original hearing, again cutting that down from 3 or 4 weeks to a much shorter time frame. And again, all these little steps contribute to a much bigger picture of reducing drift and delay for children.